Familiar with the center's integrative health program. We call it Health Circle, and our goal is to offer integrative services that help you enhance and complement your fertility treatment plan. The services we offer include acupuncture, health coaching, nutrition, and two that we're going to talk about today on Lunchtime Live at the center: yoga and massage for fertility. Carissa Spada, who is a licensed massage therapist and seasoned yoga professional, is here to share about these services. So, Carissa, hello and
Great.
welcome.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's always a joy to be here. Thank you.
It's great to have you. So, we'll start with fertility yoga. And can you talk a
Great.
little bit about what that is?
Absolutely. So it's a class that is offered that is focused on fertility. And what does that mean to be focused on fertility? Because certainly yoga is, it already helps with mindset and body and stress reduction. But what makes it particularly fertility focused is several things. One is that in this class, we actually have a little circle and a little bit of sharing, as much or as little as each person wants. And so we're already setting the intention for connection and
Mhm.
support, and we're sharing this class with others that are on a similar journey. So that already sets it apart, and that there's some communication and some community building and connection. And then what makes it unique are several things. One is that we exclude any posture that might even potentially be a contraindication for anywhere in a menstrual cycle, an IUI cycle, an IVF cycle, including when we're stimming for IVF and working towards building those follicles, because the body is certainly in a more sensitive state. And I want people to be able to take a class at any time and know that wherever they are in their fertility treatment, they are safe to take this class. And then it's what's also nice is that I remind everybody, in that if there's a posture that you remember and that you really like, or a few postures that you want to say do at night or in the morning, you don't have to think, is this safe for me to do during
Mm.
this part of my treatment? I can just do this at any time. And then what also makes it unique to fertility is that we're really setting a lot of intention. We're adding in some visualization. We're really getting clear on what we're asking our bodies to do, and focusing on postures that are not only safe during fertility treatment or a cycle, but are really focused on pelvis and blood flow. So I'm really very conscious about what postures I'm including as well as excluding. So there's really
Mm.
several different components that make it specific to fertility.
And is it for anybody? Is it accessible to all bodies?
Yeah, great question. Thank you for that. It's one of my favorite questions, actually, because as a yoga teacher in general, it's really important to me to make it accessible to everybody. But in particular, this class, you can have been practicing yoga for the last 15 years or never taken a yoga class at all. And it's
Mm.
for every ability, every experience level, again, including being brand new. And additionally, and what I encourage, and we haven't had it happen lately, but we used to have it years ago, and I just keep putting it out there because I would love to see it happen if somebody feels called to, is that it's also a class that anybody can take. So if we have a partner or a best friend or a mother or somebody that's really sort of alongside us in this journey, and it would feel helpful or supportive to have another experience together, then it's a class that that other person can take as well, because it is safe for everybody. I always welcome partners, support people. And now that we're doing this class online, which we have been for a couple of years now, it also makes that class accessible to maybe a support person that doesn't even live in state, but that you want to be
Mm.
able to have an experience together. So it's just another way to be cognizant of getting support in our lives. So it is absolutely safe for all bodies, all experience levels, and wherever somebody is at.
What are some of the benefits of it? Why would someone want to do this?
Absolutely. The benefits are really numerous. And I find that it's sort of like anything in life, that when we start to practice something, what benefits we find are going to probably be a little bit unique to ourselves. So it may be different for one person or the other. But one of the main things that it does is it teaches us tools for how to find our own calmness, sort of that place within ourselves that isn't spinning and swirling and twirling, and our worlds can be spinning and twirling in our work lives and our family lives. And certainly in a fertility journey, there can be a tremendous amount of information, and there's some learning curve to sort of find your way through it. And so one of the main benefits, and there are many, is to be able to learn to bring ourselves into an access point of a little bit more peace and calmness. So I say a little bit more because there are times where we probably can really find peace and calm, and there are times where we maybe can just get a little bit closer. But it gives us those tools to be able to do that. And certainly stress reduction, ability to sleep a little bit better at night is another potential. Flexibility, increase in blood flow. And so there's a lot, but I think that one of the main ones when I think about the potential for stress during maybe family building, or again having to learn different things in a treatment, is that it gives us some pretty solid tools for how to calm, how to center, and how to be able to even just take in information when we're needing to take in information.
Oh, that's so important. So this is for fertility. What happens when someone becomes pregnant?
Yeah, so that's interesting too, because we used to have this class in person, as was our world, sort of how we all did things. And so what we decided was, when we were in person, that people could still come through their first trimester. But what has happened with being online, because there's just a little bit more ease to being in your own home and to having our own space, um, the class is safe for any trimester of pregnancy, and it is safe for postpartum. It's safe for any time in the continuum. Again, I'm really, really conscious about safety. That's what matters most to me. And so what we've decided, and what has sort of happened organically, his folks have stayed through their pregnancies. Actually,
Oh,
we've
great.
we've gotten to meet babies. We've sort of ended up with this continuum. Actually, what's really sweet right now is we've got this continuum of maybe somebody who's even thinking of working towards family building in the next year or two, which has always been my dream, is to catch people earlier on in the process. To people who have just had babies. So we
Mm.
actually have the fullest spectrum you could have, between intending towards working towards pregnancy in a couple of years to having given birth. So it's safe for anywhere along the lines. Certainly our focus is on our folks that are actively trying to conceive. That's certainly our focus, and that is where my languaging and my intention is when we're doing the class. But there is safety and
Okay.
space for everybody.
Wonderful. Um,
Yeah.
and so this is all online. Are you intending to go in person at any point?
It's tricky, because I think, it's a great question. I don't even know the answer, because it seems like there's a lot of comfort in being able to just sort of be in your own space. Certainly as we go into winter, I don't even know if that's like, even questioning going out doesn't seem like an idea as we move into cold weather. But always in the spring is when we start to consider it again. And what I tend to do is, the folks that are showing up, I tend to really ask them, because they're the ones that are already taking part in the class. So I'm always open to that, and also open to really trying to make it accessible. And certainly online makes it more accessible. So
Mhm.
I'm always telling people, give me your feedback, because let's always make it work the way we're wanting it to work.
Oh, great. And
Great.
when do you hold your
Yeah.
classes?
Yep. So it's the first and third Wednesday of every month. They are currently 5:15 to 6:15. I may have a little bit of, again, sort of checking in with folks now that we have been online for a while, maybe even shifting it to 5 to 6, but it's really in that, like, sort of right after work hours. And again, because at least for now we're online, a lot of times people can hop on a little earlier, and they tend to like a little bit of an earlier class, so they still have their evening. So it's currently the first and third Wednesday. It's a
Okay.
little bit interesting in that today is not a first or third, but I'm still hosting class tonight, because I had a bit of a schedule change this month. So if anyone's seeing this live or today, you can hop on tonight at 5:15. You just have to get the registration link that I can send to you, or is on the website for the center.
Excellent. All right. So now we're going to go to fertility massage, because you do this as well. And what in the world is fertility massage?
Yeah, well, it's something I'm super passionate about. It's something I've been doing for a while now, and it came born from my own fertility journey and being a massage therapist since 2004, and thinking that these worlds must be able to meet in some way, and lo and behold, they do. They do actually quite well. So it is an interesting and different massage work. I always tell somebody if you've had a lot of massage work, this is gonna be a different experience. The first third of our time together, because the sessions are longer, they're an hour and 45 minutes. And roughly the first third is more conversation. What can you do at home? How can you support your mind? How can you support your stress level? How are you sleeping? What can I do to help you with that? So there's lots of lifestyle pieces that we can talk about to support the whole person. I always say I'm certainly working to help you achieve your goal, and I'm helping to support you as a person going through this
Mm,
process, right? Because they're not two separate things. They're very integrated, and we can lose sight of that. So the fertility massage is about a third of time in conversation and probably about 2/3 of the time on the table.
okay.
It's extremely relaxing massage work. It's got a lot of acupressure. It's got castor oil, so there's some abdominal massage. So it's a very, I always say it's a specific protocol designed for fertility, and yet it's still completely organic and in tune to what that person is needing. It's very warm and cozy and snuggly.
Mm.
Lots of people fall asleep during it. It's very calm. It's a very calm, gentle massage with a lot of different components in it.
And can you talk some more about the benefits? I know it's very calming and relaxing, and
Yeah,
that's so
absolutely.
needed right now.
Yeah, so that's a big piece of it, is that we get that central nervous system to come into parasympathetic response. So that's already very important. But additionally, the acupressure points that we're working on to help with
Mm,
ovaries or uterus. So there's points that we're working on, cranial sacral work, which is any energy work to, again, to try to bring the body back into balance so that it can have that potential to be able to balance hormones better. So anytime we're working on one system of the body to help it be in more balance, it's going to help with any other system, including sleeping better. The castor oil packs are always a very interesting thing too, because I always tell people certainly something like a castor oil pack is something that lots of cultures have used. It's been used for a very long time. Can we cite a double blind study on it? Of course we cannot, because that does not exist in this world. So I always say this is what we think it can do and what can help with. It certainly helps with calmness. It
mm.
certainly helps with digestion. There is certainly, it's our skin, so it's absorbing the castor oil. So I think it's very important to use organic castor oil because we're certainly taking it into our system. And there's a belief that it can maybe help even potentially break down some scar tissue or help to
Mm.
break up something that could be happening right underneath the skin. So the properties of the castor oil can be potentially helpful. And then after it's had time to sort of soak in with the warmth, I'm then coming in and doing some abdominal massage, which again can help potentially with some scar tissue or adhesions.
So is this okay for is it cycle dependent? Is it for anybody? So let's start
Great
with, is it
question.
cycle dependent?
It is cycle dependent. So what we want is that we really are using castor oil between only up until transfer
Okay.
or only up until ovulation. So it is within certain times, and that's something that I discuss with somebody. And then we say once you've ovulated, again, if we're working on trying to conceive naturally that month, if we're working on IUI, if we're working with IVF, we always are working with where are we at in this cycle, and then we go from there. So and if somebody has their period and they're bleeding heavily, we don't do castor oil during that time either, not
Okay.
because it's going to harm somebody, but because we really want to be gentle and kind to the body and let the body shed in its own timing. So we don't really want to increase that or do anything that would move that along a little bit quicker. We want to let the body do what it's intended to do. So it's
Mm.
definitely cycle dependent. There's definitely a timing for it, and likewise, there are certainly lots of times in a fertility treatment where somebody may be down regulating, and so there's zero chance of ovulation or pregnancy after ovulation. So that would be a time where we could still use castor oil. So all of those
Mhm.
conversations happen around how to really optimize the castor oil and how to be exceptionally safe. So again, I tell everybody I work with that when it comes to safety, I'm highly conservative,
Mhm.
and that is always my lens. So it is cycle dependent, and there is a timing to it.
Okay. And men, do you also see men in this process?
So that's great. So when I have done the training years ago, I certainly got trained to work with men, but not surprising, that isn't typically who shows up. So I haven't worked specifically with male partners yet. I'm certainly very open to that. And my training certainly
Okay.
includes that. But the ways that I do address that is that I'm often having conversations with the female partner
Mhm.
about what can also be supportive of male partner at home. And what I do have sometimes that happens, and this is a favorite of mine when it does, is that I often have other partner, whether that's male partner or female partner, I often have other partner also come in and learn and have be part of the conversation. And often I will also have, and again, this is part of my training that I did, was to really know how to teach the other partner how to support
Mhm.
the person going through the treatment, or the person that's working to get pregnant. So there's things that you can also do at home as partnership that I can also instruct how to do. So I've had partners within a session, and that's a favorite of mine.
Yeah. Wonderful. And what happens when she gets pregnant?
Awesome. Yeah. So that certainly changes the type of work that I'm doing. So it really switches into prenatal massage. And I
Okay.
consider that as soon as there's an IUI, or as soon as there is um, an IVF transfer or something like that. So the work
Okay.
still can happen. It's a really supportive time. I mean, we certainly need and are benefited by touch and gentle and kind touch. It is different work, still super relaxing, but we take some things out. We take out the castor oil. We change up the acupressure point. So
Mhm.
there's a different process, and I
Okay.
often will have somebody schedule a massage with an intention of one thing, and then suddenly their transfer got moved up, or that something changed in the timing because we spoke a month ago, and then we just change the protocol based on what we need. So I can change
Okay.
it in the moment. Sometimes people will reach out to me ahead of time, but it's altered based on what's going on for somebody in that moment.
So it's very customized.
Yes, yep, exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, so what's the best way to schedule a massage with you, a fertility massage with you?
Yeah. So probably the best way is email, because then it's right there and we can go back and forth and get the information. And my email is info, at my name. So info at carissaspada.com. Um,
Excellent.
and that is, I am certainly on the center's website and whatnot. But in terms of an email, that's probably just the best and direct way to get a hold of me.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Thank you so much, Carissa. That was really great and helpful.
Oh, so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And if you'd like to learn more about Health Circle and our services, please visit our website at yukonfertility.com, and I'll include a link in the comments as well. So take care, and we'll see you next time on Lunchtime Live at the Center. Bye for now.